Thank you again for everyone who's tuning in. Today we're talking stands and supports and things like that. I have material from Aaron Parecki, his PK1 solutions. I have YC Onion, I have Catifo, and I have Sine Rails or Extreme Bay from Danny Dodge. So those are the things we're going to go through, and we're going to kind of go through them in one path to take a look. Oh, and I have one other thing, and I made a video on this on my other channel. This is the original. And I found it really useful to just buy these cell phone holders. It's not a cage, but I just needed to use it on a table. And these things are super cheap. They're super inexpensive. They've held on very well. They don't take up nearly any room. It doesn't lay flat on the table or fit. It kind of catches when I put it into a bag. But the cool thing is, let's go over here and go to side camera. You can see that it just sits real nice on the table. You know, if I want a little bit more of a tilt, I can tilt it like that. If I want to tilt it back, there it is. It's super stable in terms of like pounding on it or having cables hanging off the back. And this was like a great solution. It just works. And if you're interested in those, I will put a link to them in the description of this live video when it's finished on YouTube. I have also utilized these on the InStream. And the InStream, of course, is a vertical device. And so I put them, which way do they open? I don't know which way they open. Here they are, this way. So that this way, you can see, the trick is to get them both lined up right. So that way I've got this at an angle and the cables come out the side, and that seems to work pretty good in terms of being able to use the InStream. The interesting thing with the InStream is there's so much extra weight on top here, you know, whereas the YoloBox Pro, I'm at the top of the device. So there's nothing really overhanging it. This one on the InStream, there's more weight out here, and it kind of wants to tilt back. So what I found is it actually pulls this rubber backing off of the InStream, and this just peels away. It doesn't fall over because it's still attached at the top, but all of a sudden I find it's like leaning back a little further because the adhesive on these little add-ons is stronger than the adhesive on this rubber backing on the back of the InStream. But that's nice. That works there. And that would also be a great solution for the Mini because the fan is on the back. So if you lay this flat on the table, it has zero circulation. You need to elevate the Mini some way to get it up. And doing this would be a perfect way to do it. But it's a nice segue into the PK1 stand by Aaron Parecki. Let me bring up his the website for that. I have lined these up for you guys. The PK1.TV, YoloBox Cage. He's got them for the YoloBox, the InStream, the Stream Deck, the A10 Mini, A10 Mini Extreme. So you can see here's the Pro Streamer for the Pro, where you can attach things on the side, and there's a rail at the top. You can really dress these things up with different accessories. They can also help you dress and anchor your cables, with cable management on the back. The aluminum bar lets you, rig different things. And it comes in a box kind of like that. And we'll get into that in a second. And accessories, additional side handles. So it's kind of like you're building out an ecosystem to serve what you need. Do you need to hook on receivers and all this stuff, or do you just need something like I'm doing here? I just want something on my desk to hold it at a nice angle so it doesn't slide around. And if I just lay this in here, you see it's sitting. It's nice and stable. They got little rubber feet that you put on the bottom, and this thing holds the two sides together. And I can add on an accessory like a wireless receiver or something back here, and that's really it. You know, there's times it doesn't need to be super complex and super jazz hands everything. It's just, this is what it does. And they have a pro version. Let's go to my overhead. Here's the pro version. Pro, Mini. You know, they look the same because they're functionally identical. You know, if you turn this over, it's letting it sit in here. You know, the rail's in a different spot, but otherwise, you know, you get the 4 feet and it just holds it just like that. And the nice thing is it's just sitting in there. So you're not screwing it down, you're not locking it in. So if you need to like do something, or if you, like, I prefer to have all the video cables go away from me. That's how I have it working on my main production model. And if you prefer to have the cables coming down straight towards you, you can do that too. It's up to you. And the YoloBox interface allows you to rotate the interface, so it works one way or the other. That's how I use it with my students, says the McKee Academy of Arts and Sciences. So yeah, we all use our things differently, and flexibility is key in making it work for you. Just like, you know, making a show. How does the show, you know, how do you want to design the show to work for you? So these are really cool. When I don't use this is my, you know, just for demo, I have a different stand for my regular one, but this is a nice solid stand. Continuing along, this is what they look like when they come. I did not assemble this one so that I could show you. This is for the in-stream. So you get a box with stuff. You know, here are the cable management pieces. Here are the rubber feet and the screws that hold the metal beam in the middle. And he gives you the tools too. They are also 3D printed to just tighten the hex there. And these are not 3D printed, these are metal. And this is the metal bar. Oops, sorry. There you go. And you would put that in one end, you put this in the other end. Oops. You'd also make sure you have them at the same angle. And you see this one actually kind of includes feet in it. This does not feel very grippy, which is probably why he includes the rubber feet, and they're separate. Without it, it does slide around because it's literally just plastic, just, you know, doing whatever. Oh, no, that is the back for the in-stream itself. The in-stream sits right here like this and rests on that. So that is not for the table. Down here is the table, so you need to add the 4 feet for the table. This sits here because the in-stream has a threaded mount on one side and the other side, not the top or bottom. The other thing I really like is he has this bracket, and this is something I think should be standard. Like, Yolo should just buy this en masse and include this, because this puts a U bracket here and puts a mount in the back in the middle, which is exactly where we want to mount it. You know, whether it be on the table or on a tripod or something like that. This is how we want to hold it. You know, I don't necessarily want to support it from one side, and as I go tapping away, it slowly starts to rotate. You want to hold it in the middle of the weight. So this is something that is really, really useful if I didn't already have this solution in place to have it sit on the table nice and flat for me. But that is how these things come in the box. It's a nice little kit. I did not add any of the other accessories on here for wireless mic holders and stuff like that. And you can see that this one doesn't have any other feet or mounting points for those. But the metal bar is a standard metal bar to all of them, and you can mount these cable management pieces with this little twist lock here. You put the twist lock into that, it's already tight. You'd have to loosen it, slide it in there, rotate this how you want it, and then it's going to stay there, and you can route your cables through this, and they give you a slot. So you can put it in, you can take it out, but if it gets yanked, you're not yanking on the port on your device. So these are very handy tools, especially if you are someone who operates in different locations. Can I get it all back in the box there where I got it from? Probably not. Wait, put that in there too. There. It's like it's new. The fact that he already has the A10 Mini, the A10 Mini Extreme, YoloBox, InStream, Stream Deck, the fact that he has all these different things, I'm really going to say that it's going to be available because he has one for the Mini, for the Pro, for the Vertical. You know, you can pretty much rest assured that if the Ultra is not already available and it's just not on the website, it's on its way. So that is the PK1 series. And for those who are late to the game, my name is Anthony Barocas, and I am the Chief Gearhead here at StreamTech, a new channel dedicated specifically to streaming technology. And if you would like, subscribe and share a video of your choice on your social media, that would help me grow the audience greatly, because you know a whole lot of people that I don't know, but they may be interested in streaming technology too. So that would be great. Next up in the streaming solutions laptop here, we are going to go with the sine rails. And that's his Danny Dodge's website that he gave me to talk about this. And he is designing and 3D printing some really handy tools, and they have some very unique features that none of these other solutions have. So that's the website, sinerails.com. But let us look at the overhead. So this is the box. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So let me take the Pro, and we're going to put the Pro in here. Perfect for travel because you have protected the screen. That is really slick. So you've got a protected screen. It's a little longer. You know, you've got two screw feet down here. It's a little longer, but the fact that this, you literally pack it like this. You don't have to add anything else. You can pack it like this in something else. The screen is completely protected all the way around. And then when you get to the location, this opens up, spins around, and becomes your operating surface. Check that out. So now it's at a nice angle. You don't really get to choose the angle because the angle is chosen by where this comes into play right here. I mean, I guess technically if you really wanted, I want to be a little further, you could like get a Dremel and chop that out to the depth you wanted. But now it's even on both sides. It's very, very, very stable. You can see I got my ports on the top. Again, if you wanted to, there's no reason you have to mount it like this. You could mount it upside down. I'm going to call it upside down, and have all your ports come out the bottom, and then just have your SIM card and your media up here and nothing else, your power button. And I operate it the other way. I don't like having all that clutter come at me, you know, when I'm working here on the table, but I can see a need for people who want to connect it that way. That's perfectly fine. Different strokes for different folks. And that all fits together beautifully right here. But this is not the only thing he has. Let me go overhead. This folds up nicely, but I will take this out. I will try and take this out. Oh, it's not going to fall out because the lid holds it in place. Didn't even realize that, but that's really smart. So yeah, you see the lid actually comes around here, and it can't go this way and it can't go that way, so it can't fall out. Very nicely done. Very, very nicely done. He also has this. Let me hold this up to the camera this way. It's more of a like on your camera setup, or mounted from on an arm, in that you can put your receivers or lights or whatever here. You can strap on receivers. He's got these little areas that you could run a strap through, a Velcro strap, and just like the other one, it fits in here and provides a really nice hood. I mean, remember, the hood is going to stop light from hitting the screen, but when you're looking at it, If the sun is behind you, or if a bright sky is behind you, you're still going to see that. The hood is not going to eliminate the bright sky behind you. The only thing that's going to eliminate that is like a big black umbrella that, you know, that you're using over your head. That's the only thing that's going to eliminate the reflection of something bright. The hood's not going to help with that. The hood is going to help with glare coming in from the side, but it's not going to help if you have it aimed up into the sky and it's just super bright behind you. But this is his other solution here. Ta-da! That is very nice as well. So again, that is at the Sign Rails. That's Danny Dodge, and he's active in the YOLO Live group. And these are custom printed, and I have to say the printing is very fine. You know, as you can see, it's very tight tolerances, but that means that they are purpose built, and your YOLO box is not just going to fall out. Next up is someone that reached out to me. Could not necessarily find a website for them, but it is the Catifo YOLO Live compatible YoloBox Pro all-in-one vertical live video streaming studio with me to Lumen. Like every Amazon product title, it's literally just a keyword description. But let's go overhead. This is what it is, the Catifo. And I have to say that, interestingly enough, this company, this cage is really heavy duty. It's super heavy duty. There you go. So you see, it just falls in here. And with that mounting point there, that actually means I'm doing it wrong. Right here, you have locking positions for each of your HDMI inputs. You can use these. Interestingly enough, these are plastic. It comes with these screw holes, finger screws, and what you would do is you would tighten them down on whatever cable you had. So you'd plug it in, and then you would tighten this down onto the cable to hold it in place. You know, so if it gets yanked, it can't really move anywhere. You're just isolating it where it sits. This is pretty elegant in that it doesn't make it too tall, and if you want to take the cable out, you just go like that and you can yank the cable out. The other really interesting thing with this one is, I don't know where, there it is. It has this nut to mount in here with the tools. They give you the tools too. So this 1/4 20 bolt on the bottom is all that's holding it in here, which I guess is enough. You've got cold shoe here, you got a cold shoe here, nothing really on top because that's where all your I/O is. Mounting on the side, this is actually a NATO rail, more mounting points, and then you've got 2 1/4 on either side in case if you wanted to mount it from the bottom, and technically that's a NATO rail as well. Yeah. But the thing I like best about this one is all this mounting on the back. So if you wanted to mount it right here and have it sit, you know, underneath a camera, like right there, so that I could just tap on it, that makes a heck of a lot more sense than trying to mount it from here and then swing it around, or from the side and swing it around. Again, I like mounting things right where the center of mass is. And this one gives you all that on the Pro. Our next cages from YC Onion for the Pro don't have that. And that was kind of interesting, because I kind of felt that was a little bit of an oversight, but the YC Onion has really cool features in another way. So let me take this one apart. This is one piece. Sounds like it's rattling, but I don't know. It's one piece of aluminum. You don't assemble it. You don't take it apart. There's nothing to tighten in the cage itself. It is one piece, and that is a nice feature as well. Drop these in here. And again, this cage from Catifo runs $99. I will put a link to it in the description of the video. So if this is one that you're interested in, hey, if you could do me a favor and wait till I post the link, that way I can make 50 cents. If you're going to buy it anyway, it doesn't cost you anything more, and it helps me make 50 cents. But if 1 million people buy it and I make 50 cents off each one, I can make $1 billion. Next up, we have the YC Onion, and they are sort of like the big one in the room. They have just come out with their Ultra Cage for $179, but they have several YOLO specific solutions, and they're very, very, you know, you can see the cage, the isolation mounts on all the different pieces. And I actually have the Ultra Cage here, so we will get to that. We will get to take a look at that. First, let us go overhead. I have this one. This is the InStream cage. And this one has this piece in the middle. Remember I was talking about I like to be able to mount my thing in the middle? The YC Onion cage for the InStream has that. The YC Onion cage for the Pro does not. But that is what it is. Again, you get the hardware, you get the tools, you get little felt grippies, and the instructions are literally put right on top of, oh, you can't really, there we go. The instructions are put right on top of the box, or in the box. So you're going to need to keep the box. You can't just keep the pamphlet. Although it is blindingly simple. You can see the bottom of the cage has got the openings, but then there's these mounting points on the top and bottom. And that is because the way these cages are built, the InStream cage grips the InStream itself inside. You actually build the cage around the InStream, and then once you assemble it with these screws, it's in there. You're not going to take it out and put it in, take it out and put it in like you can like with the PK1 holders. You're mounting it in this cage for it to be used inside this cage. And we'll do that with the Pro. But you can see the thing here is when you have your, you can see the separating is starting to happen because I put it down. But I have these 3 ports here, and I have those 2 there. So if you loosen this, then this slides up, up, up. Let's go to the side view. This slides up so that you can put the cable in and then slide it back down to anchor the cable in there. Then you do this for the second one. So this allows, they have a different height adjustment. So if you've got different cables with different size ends, you know, you're basically holding the cable that way. You're holding it down and in, which can be a little bit, it's not curved in here to like cuddle the cable, but you're holding it for side to side isolation as well as front to back. You're really just holding it down. And that I think offers a bit more anchoring than the Catifo cage. But then if you want to take a cable out, you not only have to loosen, but you have to move this thing out of the way, and it doesn't come out. It's just, it's always going to be in the kind of way, and then you have to like wiggle. So it's something that stays there and is always in the way. Whereas if you might have to be unplugging and replugging a lot, the Catifo allows you to just open, plop, plop, plop. Super easy to get those cables in and out, whereas this one is a bit more of a to-do to get access to those cables. Now, the other thing I thought was down here, you've got this thicker part, which is where your mic and line level is, so it's deeper, and then where you need to access the SD card, it has a more shallow cut area so that you can get your fingers in there to get this out. Because remember, we're human, and these are made for humans that you need to be able to get your chonky finger in there to activate things. There's a shoe down here. There's no shoes on top. There's no shoes on the side. Oh, there's one here. And then you've got the mounting points, but also no NATO rail on the YC Onion cage here. That is the InStream cage. Boom. Here is the Mini. I'm just going to show this as it is. The Mini slides out. It's a different design than the InStream. It has little felt pads on the corners. You can see this one right here. And this slides in. The tolerances are very good. It does not take a lot of pressure, but at the same time, it's enough pressure that it's not going to fall out by itself. And here you can really see how these work if the camera would focus up nicely, which it doesn't seem like it wants to. There it goes. So this slides out, and then I take the cable and I put the cable in, and then that slides down, and then I lock it. So there, it's really anchored in nicely. It still has a little bit of wiggle up and down, but you're not going to yank this out. Somebody's not going to trip on a cable and have it yank out of here. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But then, like I said, you got to take that out. It's a little bit more of a to-do to get the cables in and out. But the mini cage has protections for your 2 HDMIs. There is actually one here. I've removed it. So there are 3, and these are like I'm showing you now. These are actually completely removable if you don't want it, and you just want the actual, just the frame. But there you go. There's a 3 there. You've got it again. It recesses so you can get to your other pieces here on the side. It is disassemblable, but honestly, you got a cold shoe there. I don't know what that's for. It's a nice opening. Recess so you can get to your other media, power button, and nothing on this side, and you've got a cold shoe. So that's the mini, but like I said, the big difference is the mini allows you to take it out without disassembling the cage, whereas the InStream and the Pro are built around the actual YoloBox, and it's not coming out. It's not coming out. So this is what the Pro looks like, and as you can see, it comes in 4 pieces with all the other things, and here's all the little brackets. And as they would say, some assembly required. So this is the YC Onion Pro cage, and like we were talking about with the InStream, you can see right here, it's got a dovetail in the front and the back. This is going to be built around the Pro and hold the Pro in it. It is not going to be like the Mini, where you can easily insert and remove your YoloBox. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm just doing a build right here in front of you. I feel like Linus Tech Tips, except I'm not building a computer. I'm just building a YoloBox cage. I don't know if anybody watches Linus Tech Tips. Anybody? Anybody watch Linus Tech Tips? I do. I will say I do not sit through a 3-hour build, but I do like their produced videos. So this is the 3, these are the pieces. You can see how it sits in here. Now, it is showing that the top piece is the open rail, and the side with the pieces sticking out is where this goes. So that would be this one. And it actually has a little bit of a dovetail in here, so they're not going to slide. It actually fits inside there. And then, unlike the other ones, this one has dark bolts, not shiny silver bolts. Silver bolts. Silver bolts. It's Christmas time in the city. There we go. All right, we'll do the other side. This is the long, quiet part of the show where I actually build something. Now, I cannot put the bottom on until I put the YoloBox inside. Let's see. This is the YoloBox. It will not fit in there. So we need to, from the bottom, slide it in. And you can't really see it, but it's fitting behind. Let's go to the side camera. It's actually fitting inside the unit right here. So it's held underneath of this bar. Similarly, when I put this one on, I'm going to guess which way is it? Faces this way. Nope. Let's try it this way. Yep. Of course, name faces forward. So it fits in there and covers over the bottom corners. And then I need to add the other bolt. I'm only adding one bolt per corner just for the sake of time. So this is the YC Onion cage. It is locked in here. It's not going to fall out. You can see it's got protection for 1, 2, 3 HDMIs. It's got protection for the USB, protection for the HDMI, protection for the USB-C, protection for the USB-C, but not your audio. Your audio cables are still unprotected. And as I've seen in the YOLO Live group, people have had, yanks on a headphone cable and breaks that jack off the motherboard, so it's intermittent, it's not connected properly, and that is unfortunate that those are not protected, because those are very delicate, and if you can't hear your audio, you could monitor the audio from the HDMI out into a monitor and monitor it there, but those I think should be protected. You've got a cold shoe on this side, you've got a cold shoe on that side. You can mount the box in here, although technically, since the box is physically held in the cage, that center mounting lug is not really needed. Interestingly, like, we looked at the other cages and they get very thin right here where your fingers need to get the card out. On the Pro, they don't. This is very thick here, whereas if I go back to the in-stream cage, you can see how it gets considerably thinner right here where the card is. The Pro does not. It stays thick all the way through, meaning trying to get to your card, get your finger here, like this should be thinner this way and thinner that way to make getting to the SD card easier. The SIM card, you're probably not going to get to, and you can push the button with ease. But that's my only caveat with that. But as you can see, the Pro has no mounting point in the middle. The in-stream does. I don't get that. Like, there's not even like 2 mounting points where you could take this piece that they already make and put it here to hold the Pro in the middle. So, you're left, you can't mount it from the top. You can mount it from the side, and it's going to hang, and you can mount it from this side and it's going to hang, or you can mount it from somewhere on the bottom, or technically, as we said, you could reverse it, and this could be the top, because it's got all the mounting points, and then all your cables would be hanging out the bottom. So people do that, I don't, but that is definitely a possibility. But it just seems there's an interesting, some cages lock it in, other cages don't. Some cages have a middle mount, other cages don't. So it's very interesting to see how different things are done in different YC Onion cages. And fully assembled, it doesn't fit in the box. Dun dun dun! YC Onion and the Ultra. Say it with me. Ultra. So this is the Ultra cage. I'm going to move this out of the way. You can see here on top, they give you the instructions again. Here is this frame that they give you right here. This piece goes on top. So they've pre-built the U shape, and then this piece goes on top. So they've pre-built the U, And we're going to slide this in just like so. Ooh, that is such a tight fit. You can see right here and right here, it's actually coming over top of the front of the YoloBox, and obviously it's being held in the back too. So then we can, ooh, the Ultra is just so heavy, and then you're adding a metal cage to it. We can, sorry, let me put this over here so you can see it. Again, they give you the hardware. I could put, oh, there's only one. That one is tight. Oops. These are recessed. These are like way in there. There's this long threaded opening. There we go. You can see like right there, this is long. You can't get your fingers in that. Whereas here, you could hold it with your finger and start threading it. You'll see, let me spin it around. Magnetic area. That's new. And you can see it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 HDMIs, your HDMI out, not your Ethernet, USB, and on the bottom, audio, again, is not protected, and you've got the thick part right here for the SD card access. Power button. Again, it would be nice if these were protected, and interestingly, the USB-Cs are protected on the Pro, not protected on the Ultra. I don't know. And the extra, wow, this is a beast. The extra little caveat with this is you've got this, it comes with a hood. And the hood fits right in the magnetic area. However, they have designed this with a little groove on one side, but not the other. So it's really designed to fit in here. In that little groove. It's not fitting very well, I will say. Trying to smush it in there. But it's got this cutout all the way to leave room for this hood, and it actually is honestly held by that. Technically, it should fit. Yeah, it's not fitting very nicely in this little groove all the way down. Should hold that, but the tolerance is such that the hood is actually just slightly thicker than the groove it's supposed to fit into. And this is designed to work if you want all your ports on the bottom. If, however, you are like me and you like having your ports on top, you can kind of get this to fit, but there's no groove, or there's no cutaway, you know, like there is here. There's a cutaway for it to fit. There's no cutaway on this side for the hood to go. So the hood is really designed for one side only, although I will say, since it's not fitting, that you kind of end up with the same kind of hold and groove on both sides. But that, it's not too bad, and it's not going to blow off. It's on there, and again, it's just magnets. But you know, it's magnetized on both sides. And then technically also, if somebody were to really hit it, you know, with a stick or something, it's a breakaway, and it's not going to take the entire thing off your magic arm. If somebody were to bang into the hood will go away. And once again, like I says, the hood protects the screen from glare, but not reflection. If you've got the sky behind your head and the sky is nice and bright, you're going to see it in the reflection of the screen. hood or no hood. That's just the way things work. A hood does not protect your screen from reflecting what's behind you. So if you are outdoors in the daylight and you've got this thing pointed up and you've got bright sky behind you, all you're going to see on the screen where your head is not is bright sky. It's going to be super bright behind you. The Ultra does have a bright screen, but the brighter you make the screen, the more power you're taking from the battery to make the screen really bright. I would rather devote that power to processing. I would rather devote that power to running a longer time. And so if you can just have a black umbrella behind your head, you'll see the screen super easy without having to use a hood or some film sets and productions. They use like a little pop-up tent, a pop-up canopy. And then you operate in there. So when it's reflecting up, it's reflecting the inside of the dark cover that you have over your head. And that way, the reflection of the screen is more like this than it is like this. But you can see this thing is, oh, I got so many things on the table now, I can't even cut to the different cameras. Let's go to that one. This thing is definitely rugged, and if you drop it, you've got definitely got enough protection for the screen on both sides. It's not going to hit the table unless you're on rocky ground. It's going to protect the screen. You do have your mounting point in the middle, so you can mount the middle right there and have it either on a tripod. This one did come with a tripod, and you do see the tripod on the the page. There's the little tripod. And that is, like I was saying, like, why doesn't the Pro come like that? So it comes with a little tripod head that I found not to be the best little tripod head, and hopefully they've upgraded it, but it was a little weak in my testing. So let's open that, go overhead, and here we go. Here's the tripod head, and then you can mount that. Any more comments? Nope. I'm gonna screw this in here. Nope, that's just unscrewing. All right, fine. Do it the hard way. There you go. There you go. And now it's sitting on the table. I can adjust the angle for exactly how I want it. It's a little high, but that's okay. If I want to have my cables on top, that's fine. If, however, you are of the mind that you like having your cables on the bottom, boom, there you go. Now the cables are on the bottom. And that is the YC Onion Ultra case with super, and I should also say this one is like a shiny silver, whereas the one for the Pro with the black bolts is black. So there's a definite difference in color of material here too. The Pro box is black, and the Ultra, let's look from the side, and the Ultra is kind of like metal colored. Gray, dull gray. Ultra fits in the box. Your pizza is done. I should also mention, Frank has mentioned in the YOLO Live group that YOLO is making a cage. Maybe they'll call it the YOLO cage for their own gear, which is great. I think it makes the most sense that YOLO makes cages for the YOLO boxes that they have. First they have early access to the hardware, plus they can really incorporate all those features, and they say, oh, we want a middle mount, but we need a thinner access where the SD card is, and we also want to protect the audio jacks, and they can really take the best of all these different solutions and incorporate that into one cage, because they've had a lot of we've covered 4 different solutions. They've had a lot of other examples come before them, and they can take the best of all of that and roll that into the YOLO cage. We will see if it does indeed deliver. I look forward to being able to test it and do a video on it and I will definitely report back to you here. Once again, my name is Anthony Barocas. You're watching Stream Tech. Thanks for tuning in. If you catch this after the show, feel free to leave a comment. I do respond to comments on YouTube. If you have ideas for future shows, let me know.